Hello everyone, welcome back to Lab4crypto. During the weekend we had a big push for Bitcoin and Ethereum. So in this video I wanted to explain what is my outlook for the next couple of weeks before we enter September for Bitcoin and Ethereum, what I think could happen in September, and how I am positioning myself in case what I'm thinking is going to play out. And through this video, I'm going to check some metrics with you and also run some sentiment analysis for Ethereum at the end of this video, which we can scan all the news that are related to Ethereum and see what the media and the market is thinking about Ethereum. So let's dive in. So Bitcoin had a big push. If we see it, let's say on the daily candles, we had, let's say, a 4 to 5K candle last night, which now sets us well above the bull market support band, which is at 107K. So that means when we are above these two lines, we are in a bull run. And of course, you know that from the price action of Bitcoin. And that it was something that I was saying through Twitter and through Telegram to our users, that Bitcoin at any time can do this because the metrics were giving some space to Bitcoin to do that. And let's have a look. For example, you'll see that Bitcoin is not in a bubble phase. We only have, let's say, 40% interest from the 100% that we see during bubble phases on Google Trends, which is how many people basically are typing the word Bitcoin each week. Also, if we go back to the dashboard, we will see that, of course, we are above the FOMO level, which is at 96K. Also, Bitcoin risk was really low, and I will go to the chart as well. And of course, we are flirting for a week, almost a week, with the bottom of the Bollinger Band. So if we have a look, you will see that the Bollinger Bands were really tight. Bitcoin went to the lower Bollinger Band, and then of course now is running to the upper band, which is at 121K, which currently we are above it. The prices that we see now is the daily closes for each day. So today that I'm recording the video is 11th of August, so that's why we're seeing the 10th. So because the price of Bitcoin did not close yet. If we go also to Bitcoin risk, we will see that for the past, from the August 3rd, we were below the 30% range, which historically it's a really good period to accumulate because we are in a bull run. Of course, this is not financial advice, is what our flagship algorithm says, and this is basically what I'm following for the past 6 years. For example, you will see in June we were at 28, 29K, and the price where Bitcoin was hovering around 105, basically between 100 and 105, and then suddenly we move all the way up to 120, and you can see similar patterns if we go also in April 2025. The risk when Bitcoin was 78K was only 29%, and then of course we have moved to prices above 100K. Of course, if we take only August as an example, we see usually it's a red month for Bitcoin. But if we have a closer look and we check the post-halving years, which is the year after Bitcoin halving, we will see that in 2021, August was green. In 2017 was green as well, and on 2013 as well. So although August tends to be a weak month for BTC, on post-halving years it tends to be green. We will see we still have 20 days to go. And the reason that I wanted to show you this table is that usually September on the post-halving years is red. So on 2013, you'll see is red. On 2017 is red. And on 2021, September is red. And roughly it's a 10% drop, let's say, if we take the last two ones. And now you'll see many posts that saying that there was a CME gap in the weekend. And what the CME gap is in the end is because the markets are closed in the weekend. When Bitcoin moves, because it's trading 24/7, the price can move above the close price of the CME that it was on Friday, for example. Therefore, you'll see this gap, which means like there was not traded there Bitcoin. And usually, let's say with 90% probability, usually these CME gaps are closed. So what I believe will happen, we're going to still go between 115 to 125, let's say, in August. And I think there is a probability of September to have this 10% pullback. And this gap will be closed, for example. Of course, the time frame which these gaps are closed is something that, of course, no one knows. But anyhow, how I'm navigating the market is that because we are in a low risk region, if Bitcoin moves to higher values and then has a pullback, of course, for me, it's going to be a great accumulation period. And of course, if Bitcoin stays below 50% risk, if it goes above 50% risk, I can take some profits, which is something that I'm doing for the past years. When Bitcoin goes above some risk levels, I'm taking some profits. And when it goes to lower values, I'm accumulating again. And we're going to check Ethereum as well and XRP. And in our platform, you can find many coins that you can explore and calculate their risk every day. So will be easier for you to make some informed decisions. You will see on the weekend, because the Google Trends that we saw before is updated each week, and you will see that now Ethereum is spiking. It moved to, let's say, had a big spike last week, and it moved from 35% interest from Google Trends, from people basically, to 55. And that is shown also on its Ethereum risk, which uses on-chain and off-chain data. And also, if we go to the short-term bubble risk, you will see that Bitcoin is still comfortably at the 120K, and there is nothing frothy. We don't see any abnormal, let's say, movement. But on Ethereum, we are starting to move to the high risk region. If we check the short-term bubble risk, let's have a look on the chart. So you will see that we moved below the red line, which is the hot region. And if we move above the 100, the 1.5 region, we are entered the high risk, which now we are just above it, because the price is at 4.25K. Therefore, it's something that you need to be aware of. And although, to not misunderstand what I'm saying, Ethereum has a lot of room to grow. For example, if we go and check the Ethereum risk, let's have a look. So Ethereum was, let's say, at 2.2K. The risk was only 21%. We had a big run, which brought Ethereum to 3.9K, let's say, and the risk was at 68%. And then, of course, we had a cool off. Price dropped to 3.3K, and the risk started to cool off. And now we're starting to see Ethereum going up again, which of course has much big room to grow. If we see the Ethereum risk, let's say the imminent drop, it's when we reach values much higher in the risk spectrum, above 80, 90, and of course at close to 100%. And if we have a look, for example, on XRP, let's see an example. So XRP had a run from 2.2, reached a values of 3.5. The risk was at 97%, which was signaling that the price would drop. And of course, we saw the drop. The risk dropped from almost 100% to 78. It's slowly dropping, and the price now is at 3.2. So again, for example, if you use the risk algo, you be able to exit and take some profits here at 3.6, let's say. And then if you don't want to completely exit from XRP, you will be able to accumulate more when the price goes down and if it's within your risk tolerance. So someone can say, okay, 97% risk is too much for me, but 70% it's fine. That depends on you. That's why you have it on your phone every day. The risk is calculated every 24 hours with all on-chain and off-chain data. So you'll be able to take this decision. Moving forward, we see we're not in altcoin season yet. Of course, Bitcoin supply in profit is almost 99%, which that incentivizes people to take risk if they want because they are in profit. And that is my, let's say, outlook for the two assets. So Bitcoin, I think, and Ethereum will have the last 20 days of August with high probability to close in green. But September is a period that you need to be aware that we can have a drawback. Now the question there is, do you accumulate or do you panic and exit? For me, there is no doubt that we are going to go to much higher values. And I think definitely we're going to move at least between the 1 standard deviation and 2 on the power law. Sorry, so this value in the near future is between 140 to 182. If we go, let's say on October, let's go to the end of October. So it's between 146 to 191. So let me remove the other line so it will not be confusing. And I will leave only the lines of our interest. The red line is just the feed. So it's the power law line, which for people, I made many videos about it, but of course you can check the description below and also the video explanations that I have. But the main point is, if we assume that we're going to have a big run in August and you are thinking that the power law is going to hold, you could expect Bitcoin prices between, let's say, 147 to 191. For me, I think the Q4 of 2025 is going to be amazing for risky assets. And this is why I'm positioning myself mostly on BTC and ETH and some large caps. And I'm waiting to go to the risk on period, which I'm going to move a lot of my capital to altcoins. But when I feel that the time is appropriate. And of course, I'm always saying my moves for people that are interested to see what I'm doing with my own portfolio. So Ethereum and Bitcoin are leading now the crypto market, and it's something which I think is very healthy before we move to the 3 to 5 months period where altcoins are doing well. If we see the altcoin season index, usually this period, when we have this red line above the purple one, means that we are in a full risk on period, and you will see some outrageous valuations for various altcoins. And usually is where the retail is coming in, and actually is the period that you want to start exiting the market. And I hope the tools that we have built will be very helpful for you to make these informed decisions and be able to maximize your portfolio allocation. I know it's August. A lot of people are in vacation, so I wanted to make this video to tell you what I think is going to happen for the next 2 or 3 weeks before we enter September, and also what I think about September. I hope you have a relaxing vacations. Also, for people that are sending me and asking me when I'm going to go, basically I'm leaving tomorrow, but I'm always active. So if you want something, just let me know. Leave a question in the comments. And if you like the content, please give us a thumbs up and leave a comment at the description. And of course, as promised, let's have a look on the sentiment analysis bot that I have built, which basically scans, let's say, articles that are related, for example, to Ethereum. Let's say, let's run it now to have a look and see what the market thinks about Ethereum. And that is a bot that is going to be entered to the platform as well. And we can see that we have 47, let's say, positive articles. We have just 14 which are negative and 36 that they are neutral. So let's say if we average all of them, we are in the neutral region, but we are tilted towards the positive side. And of course, that is something that we see also on Ethereum price, which of course is well above its bull market support band, which is at 3K. And now it's really close to its all-time high, which is at 4.8K. And that is something that also I said many times. If you see the FOMO level for Ethereum, I said that, yeah, if Bitcoin surpassed this value, was the probability of going to its all-time high, it's really high. And I think it's going to go. And that is why I also, if you see the pinned tweet that I have on our Twitter, which I exactly said that if we see the tweet, which was on 8th of April, that after 3 years I accumulated Ethereum because it touched the -1 standard deviation on the bottom equation that I have built for Ethereum, which historically when touched this orange line is a great time for you to accumulate. And I also publicly said that on Twitter. And that is not something that's a good news when you have data to back what you're saying, because it makes my job easier. If the math says that Ethereum it's allowed to run, that means it's allowed to run. You'll see that on the bottom range indicator, it hover between 6th of April to until the 21st. It was a great time to accumulate, and then now it's up into the right. So again, I hope you liked the video. Please give us a thumbs up and leave a comment. And until next time, bye-bye.